How's it going, people? Silent Slappy here, and this is your quest guide for the Fremmenik Trials. Happy days. No skipping, no music, just what you need to know. Full guide. So there's no quest requirements. Skill-wise, you need 25 fletching, 40 crafting, 40 woodcutting, the ability to defeat a level 96 with armor and food and whatnot, and the ability to fight without any armor or weapons, and honestly you can do it with no food at all with 50 stats. So it's entirely possible to do this at a much lower level. Item-wise, you need 6k coins, 1 onion, 1 raw potato, 1 cabbage, and either a raw shark, manta, or turtle. Sharks are the easiest to come by, and they're the cheapest in the GE, so go ahead and use a shark, personally. Recommended items: food, and to start this quest, come up to the Long Hall and speak to Brunt the Chieftain. Once you do so, quickly run through his chat, choose option 3, do you have any quests? Then run through his chat again, say option 1, yes, I'm interested. And then run through the chat and say, I want to become a Fremmenik. In case you're curious how quickly you can run through the chat, just hold down space and then use the numbers on your keyboard to answer. It's the best way to do it. So once you've finished speaking to him, talk to Manny the Reveler. He's also in the Long Hall just to your north. And quickly run through his chat, choose option 1, yes. And eventually he'll stop talking. At which point you now want to pick up the keg of beer literally right next to him on the table. And with the keg of beer in hand, go ahead and speak to him again, and once again, choose option 1, yes. Quickly run through his chat, and you'll have a drinking contest, and you can't really do anything, and you will lose. Because apparently you're a lightweight. Either way, quickly run through the chat, and after all this chat is finished, on the table, the same table you picked up that keg of beer, you will find a tankard of beer. It's the far left side on the northern table. Make sure you pick up this beer, as we need it in just a second. So once you have the tankard of beer, go ahead and home teleport. We're going to Seer's village. So once you've home teleported and you appear in Seer's, right next to you you'll find a pub, and in here will be a poison salesman. He'll randomly wander around, so you might have to hover over all of them until eventually you see him. Either way, go ahead and speak to this poison salesman. Choose option 2, talk about the Fremmenik Trials. Run through all of his chat, and it does go on for a while. This bloke does like to talk and talk. My god, does he talk. Shut up, man. Either way, run through it. Eventually, you'll be given the option to buy his low alcohol beer. Go ahead and choose option 1, yes. So with this, you now have a low alcohol keg and the tankard on you. Good times. At this point, you now want to home teleport up to Fremmenik, and we'll be using up this tankard in just a second. So once you arrive, you want to head down towards your southwest, as if you was heading towards the entrance to the Fremmenik province. Or town, I should say. And as soon as you see your player-owned house portal, just run down towards the south. And keep going south until eventually you hit the bridge that starts to take you back down towards Seer's. On this bridge you'll find an NPC called the Councilwoman. He's the bloke we need to speak to. So once you're here, just go ahead and simply talk to him and run through all of his chat. Choose option 1, so you. Once you've done that, right click and use the tankard of beer on the workman. Make sure it's the actual tankard of beer, not your low keg. And you'll receive a cherry bomb. So with the cherry bomb in hand, you now want to go back up towards the Long Hall in Fremmenik. So as you reach Fremmenik, go just to the outside on the east side of the Fremmenik Long Hall. So just to the east side of the Long Hall, on the outside, you'll see a large pipe hanging down from the side. Make your way over to this spot. You then want to light the cherry bomb, which we received from the Councilwoman, and then place it inside that pipe. So once you've done so, you now want to head into the Long Hall. And we're going to be talking to Manny in just a second. But first we need to pick up the keg of beer on the northern table again. And you want to use your low alcohol keg with this actual keg of beer. Once you've done so, go ahead and speak to Manny the Reveler and choose option 1 yes. And this time you'll kick his ass because, well, you're not technically drinking beer because you're a lightweight. Lightweight! So either way, run through all of his chat and he'll be like, yeah, no worries, I'll vote for you, good times. So, moving on to the next one then, you now want to head just to the south of the long hall. And the building literally just to the southwest is where we need to go. So head inside and speak to Swenson. So go ahead and speak to Swenson and quickly run through all of his chat. And it's time to do his little challenge. So say yes, option 1. So once you're ready, head down the trapdoor in the southwest corner. So there'll be a bunch of portals, it's quite straightforward. Take the southern portal first, then the western portal, then the eastern portal, then the northern portal, then the south portal, then the east portal, and finally the north portal. And you'll be at the ladder, go ahead and climb up, and yeah, that's as simple as that. Run through his chat, you've now got our second vote. Happy days. So next you want to go just to the southeast towards the entrance of the Fremmy town, and you'll find Sigelei the huntsman randomly wandering around. This is the next guy we need to speak to. So go ahead and speak to Sigelei, quickly run through his chat. Go ahead and choose option 1, what's a dragon? And then option 1, yes. So upon doing so, you'll receive a hunter's talisman, and literally for this section, you just spam click the shit out of it and follow the directions it tells you. And eventually, when you hit the right spot, a level 96 Drogon will appear, and simply need to kill it. That is, well, there's literally what you need to do for this, but there's not much else I can say about it. It's fairly straightforward. I am level 50-ish range with 50 defense, and well, I decimated it without much trouble, so anyone with 50 stats shouldn't have any problem here, and it's entirely doable if you have lower stats. I'm also wearing hybrid gear, so if you was wearing proper armor, it'd be better again if you was lower level too. So there we go. In a nutshell, keep spam clicking the shit out of the hunter's talisman, follow the direction it tells you to go, until eventually the Drogon appears and you can slap her in the face sideways. You know? That's all there is to it. So I will be speeding this up a little bit because it is utterly random for different people. You will get different paths, you could instantly find him, or you could take 5 minutes like mine does. So there we go. So I'm going to skip this forward just a little bit up until I kill the Drogon. And you can feel free to pause it and wait. And I'll catch you in a second. So by this point you've probably already fought the Drogon, and you've more than likely already killed it. So yeah, speeding up seems like a good plan. So eventually I find it, it's straightforward, 50 stats, you demolish it as you can see, don't even need food. And yeah, once you kill it, you pretty much complete this little part. It automatically goes into your inventory and sorts it out. So all you need to do now is head back to Sigelei the huntsman to hand it in, and you will also get his vote. So that is another one knocked out. Happy days. So go ahead and speak to Sigelei, quickly run through all of his chat, and that is simply it. So now you want to head up just to the northeast side of the long hall, and eventually you'll come across Olaf the Bard. That's who you need to speak to next. So go ahead and talk to him. Quickly run through all of his chat. Choose option 1, yes. And once you've done so, you now want to head out of Fremmenik, go ahead and home teleport up to Fremmy Homestone. Whatever the hell you want to call it. Telepoint. Home point. So from the home point you now want to run almost directly down towards your south, And as soon as you start to see like the snaky mud road, start heading towards your east. Eventually you'll come across loads of items on your minimap which looks like they're all drops, and you'll find this tree in the center. Go ahead and cut it to get a branch. Go ahead and craft the branch and you'll make an unstrung lyre. From here keep going towards your east and slightly down towards your south, and eventually you'll come across a troll we can talk to. So go ahead and speak to Lally. Run through all of her chat and eventually choose option 1, other human. Once you've done so, you now want to head back over to the Fremmenik town. So just run directly to your west, follow this little muddy path, and eventually you'll come towards the entrance. So once you're at the entrance to Fremmy, go ahead and speak to Askeladdin, which is the little kid literally in front of the long hall. You'll see him wandering about literally towards the entrance of the long hall. Go ahead and talk to him. Quickly run through all of his chat. And go ahead and you receive a pet rock. So at this point you now got to go all the way back over to Lally the troll. If you don't have the onion, cabbage and potato on you, you can farm them. Well, I say farm, you can pick them up in this little farming plot right next to the entrance to Fremmy. So if you have them on you, happy days. If you don't, you can pick them up there. Either way, make your way over to Lally and we're going to go get the Golden Fleece from her. So once you're here, go ahead and speak to the troll once again. Quickly run through the chat. And then talk to Lally once again. And run through the chat again. And once you've done that, you now want to place the pet rock inside the pot. Then place the onion inside the pot, the cabbage, as well as the potato. Upon placing the last item inside the pot, go ahead and carry on the chat with her, and she'll eventually give you the fleece. Go ahead and talk to her again, and there is your fleece. Happy days. So at this point you should now have the fleece in hand. You now want to head back into the Fremmenik town, and on the far southwest corner of the town, actually inside the town, there is a spinning wheel, and we now need to use that to make golden wool. So follow the muddy path back to town, and then once you're in there, head towards the southwest corner of it. Use the spinning wheel with your golden fleece to get some golden wool. Simple as that. So this is the building right here, southwest corner inside Fremmy. All you need to do is simply use your fleece on the spinning wheel. That'll give you a ball of wool. And once you have the golden ball of wool, simply use that on your lyre to make a strung lyre. So with that in hand, you now want to exit out of Fremmenik, and from the entrance you want to head towards your southwest-ish, and you'll come across a little strut of land poking out. That's where we need to go. So literally as soon as you exit, just run down towards your southwest. There'll be a path here. Keep going to the west. Just ignore that one. It's the one to the east of that is what the one you actually want. This little tiny strut here. So once you're here, simply use your raw shark or turtle or manta, whichever one you brought, on the little pedestal, and you'll now receive an enchanted lyre. So with the enchanted lyre, you now want to head back over to where Olaf the Bard was. And you're going to enter the long hall from the back side, on the east side of it. And simply play the lyre inside. Symbols. So make your way up to Olaf the Bard. And the doorway is literally right next to him. And this one right here. Make your way inside and stand on the stage. And then simply play the lyre. So once you've used the lyre on this little stage, that is pretty much Olaf the Bard's part complete. So in that case, happy days. The next one is a bit annoying to do, but I'm going to chuck all the answers up on the screen. Either way, you now want to head to the market, and we need to speak to Sigmund the merchant. You typically find him wandering around the centre/north side of the market. Just simply go ahead and speak to him. So same old, quickly run through all of his chat, and basically he'll ask for an item, and you've now got to go back and forth between most of the people in the entirety of the Fremmenik area, over and over again, as a postman. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but all the answers are on screen, it's all in order, so top left down to bottom left, and then move on to your top right down to bottom right. So you speak to Sigmund, then you want to speak to the sailor, located just to the northwest. Every single one of these you'll be given an option in the chat. If it does pop up, always answer the merchant's trial. So after you spoke to the sailor and you've run through his chat, you now want to speak to Olaf the Bard, located just east of the Long Hall. Again, he will ask you a question at the beginning. Simply say it's for the merchant's trial, and then spam through the chat. Do this for every single one of these people. So after Olaf is now Ursa. She owns the shop just to the west of the marketplace. She's also the bird you change your normal naked boots with. Again, merchant's trial. Once you finish speaking to her, you now want to speak to Brunt the Chieftain. He's located inside the entrance of the Long Hall. Again, merchant's trial. It's the same thing for every single one of these people. Run through all of his chat, and eventually move on to the next one, which is Sigelei the Huntsman. So literally just to your south, go ahead and speak to Sigelei. Same deal again, merchant trial, run through all of his chat. You then want to speak to Skullgrimmen, which is located in the helmet shop just north of the Long Hall. After you finish speaking to him, you now want to speak to the fisherman, located literally just north of the marketplace, on the pier. Next, you want to speak to Swenson, the navigator, located literally the first house southwest of the Long Hall entrance. Same deal again, run through all the chat. Once you're finished with him, you now want to head just in front of the building to the west to find Pierre the Seer. Go ahead and speak to him. Once you finish speaking to the Pierre, you now want to move on to Thorvald the Warrior. He's in the helmet shop as well, the same place Skullgrimmen was. Thorvald the Warrior. Again, make sure you choose Merchant's Trial and stuff. It's straightforward, you should know by now. Once you finish speaking to him, you now want to speak to Manny the Reveler inside the long hall, the old drunken monkey. Again, Merchant's Trial, spam through chat, happy days. You then want to speak to Thora the barkeep, literally right next to you, on the east side, inside this hall. Again, Merchant's Trial, spam, 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 happy days. And lastly, you now want to head just out to the exit and speak to Ask Gladden again. Again, Merchant's Trial, spam through all of his chat. Choose option 1, yes. And you'll be given a promissory note. Now you've got to backtrack through all those people you just spoke to. So now you want to speak to Thor the barkeep. Again, Merchant's Trial, spam, spam, spam. Then you want to speak to Manny the Reveler. Again, Merchant's Trial, spam, spam, spam. Then you want to speak to Thorvald the Warrior. Told you this power was annoying. Then Pierre the Seer, just to the southwest of the marketplace. Then literally next door to the east, Swenson the Navigator. Then you want to speak to the fisherman just north of the market on the pier. Then you want to speak to Skull Grumman in the hat shop. Then you want to speak to Sigelei the huntsman at the entrance. And then you want to speak to Brunt Chieftain in the entrance to the long hall. Brunt the Chieftain. Then you want to speak to Yersa in the clothes shop. Or cloak shop, wherever you want. Whatever you want to call it. West of the market. That bird. Then you want to speak to Olaf the Bard, just east of the long hall. Then you want to speak to the sailor, just to the northwest of the market. And last but not least, speak to Sigmund the Merchant, who should happily get eviscerated by goddamn Dagonath soon. I wish it upon him. What an ass. So speak to him, run through it, and he'd be like, yeah, cheers, you got me random stuff. Thanks, use my code. Yeah, next part is the naked fight. So it's time to home port, and you want to head to a bank to get some food out. If your stats are around the 50 mark, my defense is 50-ish, my range was, well, my attack and strength are both around the 50/45-ish mark, and I killed Koshkai the Deathless the entirety of this naked fight without actually needing any food whatsoever. So yeah, if you've got around the 50 mark, you could probably just walk straight in there, but just in case, just home port, go to the bank, and the only things you'll want in case you're an extremely low level is prayer pots and the highest healing food you can get your hands on. If you've got protect from melee prayers, then obviously the prayer pots are there for that. The rest, just a massive amount of food. This can be done at an extremely low level, more so in EOC. It's quite a bit harder in legacy mode if I remember rightly, but it's fairly straightforward. Basically fill your inventory with food, make sure you get bollock niggered, you can't wear any armor. One thing I did kind of forget to mention. Yeah, you can't wear any armor or weapons. Oh no, I did mention it. What am I on about? So either way, once you're ready, head back to Fremmy, and you now want to speak to Thorvald the warrior in the helmet shop and talk to him about the Fremmenik Trials. And as soon as you're ready, basically go down the ladder that's sitting right next to him. So once you're here, go ahead and speak to Thorvald and quickly run through his chat. Choose option 1, yes. And as soon as you're ready, climb down that ladder. So this fight is fairly straightforward. In order for him to spawn, just run around the room. He'll randomly pop up whenever he feels like it, because, I don't know, he likes to, or something. Either way, he's a boob. So, as I said, if you've got 50 stats, this is an absolute cakewalk. You can do it at 40 relatively easily again. You might require 1 or 2 food. And the lower you go then, you'll need more and more food. It's entirely possible to do it at an extremely low level. It's not a hard fight, and it doesn't take all too long either. So there's a few forms. I say forms. Basically he dies but doesn't die and just comes back straight away to fight some more because he's got more HP and does a bit more damage. That's pretty much it. You fight this dude a couple of times until eventually he stops coming back. It's that simple, to be totally honest. That is all there is to this fight. If you're an extremely low level but you have protect from melee, then you can use protect from melee and munch. If you're in legacy mode, I dare say it's likely going to be a little bit harder. Simply from memory, when I used to do it prior to EOC and all the rest of it, it was more difficult back then. So if it's like that, it may be a little bit harder, so 50 stats should do you fine anyway, either way, but you will end up using food, I dare say. So all in all, that is pretty much it for this Koshkai fight. There's really not a lot to it, and there's not much I can say. And there is a boss battle, and everyone takes a varied amount of time, because you're always going to be different levels. So with that said, I am going to skip through this a little bit. I'm going to fast forward it, and I'll slow it back down once I've defeated Koshkai. So feel free to pause the video, and just fast forward like 30 seconds in a bit. Once you've done it, happy days. Catch you in a second. So there we go, that's Koshkai the Deathless. There's really no tips or tricks, that's why I'm fast forwarding it, and it is a boss as well, so you're going to be wanting to pause the video, I dare say, because you're going to kill it at a different speed to me, and your levels are likely to be very different from my own, so everyone's going to kill this at different speeds, hence the speeding up. And there's no tips. I mean, it's literally stand there and duke it out, you know? All fisticuffs and all that. Bit of slap and tickle with Koshkai. He loves it. So either way, once you've punched him senseless, that's pretty much it. You've just completed that part. Happy days. So now is another little bit of an annoying part, but it is the last section, so all in all, not bad. Happy days. So go ahead and make your way out, and we now need to go speak to Pierre the seer, and he's literally on the southwest side of the market. So yeah, go ahead and speak to Pierre. Pierre le seer. He'll ask you if you want to deposit any of your items. Go ahead and do so. You need an empty inventory ideally. It saves you a lot of hassle. So go ahead and speak to him. Quickly run through his chat. Eventually he'll offer to bank your stuff. Go ahead and say yes. Option 1. Keep running through all of the chat. And then say yes, option 1. And as soon as you're ready, try to enter the house literally to your south on the west door. This one right here. Upon doing so, you'll be given a riddle. Leave the riddle up for now. All the answers are on the screen for you. It's fire, life, mine, mage, tree, time, or wind. Basically, my one, for example, says my first is in mage but not in wizard. What it means is the first letter of the answer is in mage but it's not in wizard. So for me it's M, pretty much, because there's no answer that begins with G or E. It's as simple as that. You just work it out, and if you can't be asked to work it out, all you need to do is simply click on the door and try to solve it, and basically print every single one of those answers. Eventually you'll get it right and you can enter. Simple as that. It's really straightforward and easy. You can brute force it, or you can actually think and work it out. It's entirely up to you. The answers are on screen if you need them. Either way, open the door and make your way upstairs. So at this point, there's quite a lot of things we need to do inside here. First things first, you need to search every single thing in this room. So starting easiest is probably in the southwest by opening up the cupboard and searching it. You will need a right click to search it. Give it a second. As it pops up in your chat, you're searching like X, and then it takes a second or two until you actually receive an item. Then search the unicorn head, then the boxes, then the bull head, then the boxes, and the chest, and the chest, and a box, and a box, and a box, and the bookcases. Pretty much. Search them all. You only need to search them once, and upon doing so you'll receive quite a number of items. And we will be needing these. So all the instructions are now on screen for you, so if you get lost you can just pause it and you can use that. Either way, first things first, now that you've got everything, is go ahead and cook the herring on the range. This will make you have some sticky goop. Go ahead and use that on the wooden disc to make it a red disc. Simple as that. Once you've done so, head down the eastern trapdoor. And in this room on the west side on the wall is a little poster / mural. Go ahead and use your red discs on that. It does take a second, you can't click anything. Literally use the disc on it, wait a second for the picture to disappear. Then use the next disc on it, so use 2 discs. And then wait for it to disappear. And then you should have it open up again if you go through the chat, and you'll receive a vase lid. If not, just click on the mural again and you'll receive the vase lid. Either way works, as long as you get the vase lid. So with that in hand, go back up the stairs you just came down from, and moving on to the next step. So first things first, you want to use the empty bucket with the tap on the west side of the room. You then want to use the bucket on your jug. Then use your jug on the drain, literally right next to you. The click radius on it is kind of shockingly crap, so it might take you a few tries. Once you've done that, use the bucket on the jug once again, then use the bucket on the tap. Then use your bucket on your jug again. Once you've done so, then use your bucket on the chest on the north side. This will open her up and you'll now receive a vase. Go ahead and use the vase with the tap. Then place the lid on the vase. Then use the vase on the frozen table in the northeast corner. Then wait a second, it'll explode and you receive a frozen key. You then want to use the frozen key on the range to cook it, and upon doing so you will obtain the key to exit. Head down the eastern trapdoor and make your way out of the building. Happy days. If you missed any of that, all of it was written on screen for you, so you can just use that. Once you've spoken to Pierre the Seer upon exiting, all you need to do now is go ahead and speak to Brunt the Chieftain, and that, my friends, is quest complete. All in all, not bad. So for doing this, you get 3 quest points, plus basically 3k in strength, defense, attack, constitution, fishing, thieving, agility, crafting, fletching, and woodcutting. On top of that, you gain access to the ability to make the full spinal rock shell and skeletal gear from up in Waterbirth drops from the hides and stuff, and you can buy the Archer helm, Berserker helm and whatnot from the Fremmy shops. All in all, happy days. So until next time people, I will catch you all later. Have a good one.